Then arrival at the Mecca. Finally, the Messenger of Allah arrived in the holy city of Al-Quds, with Jerusalem, and he said, when we reached Baitul Maqdis, Jibreel pointed with his finger, causing a crack in the rock, and he tied the rock to it. तो फिर चट्टान में एक दरार पड़ गई और घोड़े को वहां बांध दिया गया. This is quoted by Timsy. Waiting inside were 124,000 prophets. तो उस जगह के अंदर और उस लोकेशन के अंदर 1,24,000 पैगंबर जो थे वो वेट कर रहे थे प्रॉफिट का. Then Jibreel led the prophet to the front of those people, those prophets, and then prophet led the prayer of all these blessed people. So ये इसकी importance है. And while prophet was leading the prayer, he was standing on that small rock as the imam of the Jamaat. Some other commentaries of tafsir is the plural of tafsir, also suggest that during the course of this journey, Prophet was also shown glimpses of Jannat and Jahannam. So इस journey के दौरान, when was now the Prophet leaves the earth, दुनिया को उन्होंने छोड़ दिया, and when he is now in space, he was shown to other very important places. उनको जन्नत का भी नक्शा दिखाया गया and also जहन्नम का भी नक्शा दिखाया गया. And once again, this incident or these elements of his journey are also depicted in many books. This is an illustration from one of the books in Iran. The Prophet is riding on his animal and traveling toward the skies, and these steps simply indicate the ascension, going up and up and up and up. A number of the prophets are there, maybe prophets are here. And who is this man? I cannot interpret who is this man at the top of the stairs. This is the prophet flying to the skies. And these are the typical Chinese cloud. I think you know more than me the characteristics of the Chinese clouds. When the early books were translated into miniature. वही मैं आपसे कहने लगा था कि you know this better than me कि when the Mongols became Muslims, तो जब वो मुसलमान बन गए तो उनके आर्ट में जो चाइनीज टच था वो that continued. So this is the Chinese touch.
और ये मिराज नामा ही है किताब का जो illustrated book है, that is मिराज नामा.
Exactly. मिराज नामा भी एक नहीं है, बहुत से हैं. जैसे हम शाहनामा देखें, शाहनामा is not one but many. सिकंदर नामा को देखें, एक नहीं है, बहुत से हैं. तो in the same way there are many मिराज नामास. हम उसको मिराज नामा कहते हैं, जो पर्शियन है वो उसको मिराज नामे कहते हैं. This is simply pronunciation, nothing with the spellings. तो ये जो prophet के इर्द गिर्द जो आप देख रहे हैं, this is not a flame, but this is the nur depicted by the artist. And then this is the saddle, and then this में जो उसमें हमें कहा the reins भी थे, the reins हमें नजर नहीं आती. Another flight of this, the part of this journey to heavens, and yet another picture. And now the glimpses of the paradise. This is the journey toward paradise, and this is the scene of the paradise. According to our thinking, it's a very poor depiction of paradise. So I फूलों की औरतों में कोई खास चीज नजर नहीं आ रही. Maybe some angels are there and some hoods are there. उसके अलावा तो कोई खास चीज नहीं है. This is a closer view of the same paradise. Blossoms हैं, परिंदे भी हैं. So that is all. And this is two pictures depicting the prophet's visit or seeing the glimpses of the hell. The prophet is here and with Jibreel alayhi salam on this side. And ये लोग जल रहे हैं आग में और आग को बुझाने की भी कोशिश कर रहे हैं. जो पानी उन्हें मिलता है गर्म पानी पीने के लिए, उसी से ही वो शायद आग को बुझाने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. In this case they are also burning in the fire. तो शैतान जो है वो कह के लगा रहा है. And these are some more people, new entrants coming to the hell. These are the pictures. Some of the more pictures referring to the paradise and referring to the meeting of the Prophet with Allah. Allah maafi de de. Another picture of paradise. Now the dome of the rock, which is also known as Kubatus Sakra. Sakra simply means stone. And the कुब्बा इज दी गुंबद को अरबी में कुब्बा कहते हैं. तो जब आप पर्शियन की किताबें पढ़ते हैं अपनी हिस्ट्री के लिए, तो उसमें अक्सर लिखा होता है गुंबद पे इस बिल्डिंग पे कुब्बा कोई नहीं था, तो कुब्बा का मतलब गुंबद कोई नहीं था. So kubba simply means the dome, and sakra is the rock. So when we say dome of the rock, that means kubba to sakra. And the actual position of the dome of rock is like this. Rock is very low, maybe hardly 1 or 2, 3 meter high in height, and about 17 meters long and 3 to 4, 5 meter wide. तो उस रॉक इज लाइक ए रूफ ऑन ए केव. एक नीचे गड़ा है, उसको आप केव कह लें. उसके ऊपर छत की तरह ये रॉक पड़ी हुई है, और इस रॉक में एक सुराख भी है जिसमें से रोशनी भी नीचे जाती है. तो इज व्हेन यू गो डाउन बाय virtue of these steps in this area which is known as a cave today, तो उस केव में की दीवारों में बहुत से ऐसे मेहराबें बनी हुई हैं. नॉट द ट्रू मेहराब, डिप्रेशंस आप कह लें. And it is stated that prophets in the past, like Hazrat Ishaq and Hazrat Ilyas, have been sitting over in these enclaves and meditating. So this place became very, very important from even the days of the prophets which came before the time of Hazrat Daud al-Islam or Hazrat Sulaiman al-Islam. तो उससे पहले ये प्रॉफिट यहाँ आके बैठते रहे हैं इस केव में और वर्शिप करते रहे हैं. So that's why this place is very important. And that's why the Prophet was brought to this place. And then he stood on this rock and led the prayer. But another story of this place suggests to us that as we saw in the case of the history of Kaaba, before the coming of Islam, the people of Kaaba used to come there and celebrate the Hajj. 10 days of Hajj were celebrated around the beginning building of Kaaba. And then they used to compose poetry of dirty nature, and they used to write poetry on various elements and hang it on the door of the Kaaba. And the most important thing was they used to dance naked around the building of Kaaba and give sacrifice of the virgins. In the same way, in the tradition of the sacrifice of the virgin during the time of the pharaohs, ये लोग जो यहाँ थे in the pre-Islamic times, वो भी virgins की कुर्बानी करते थे, and then they used to pour the blood of those virgins into this hole ताकि वो नीचे चला जाए, perhaps without not knowing what is downstairs. So according to history, so much blood has been poured into this rock, so much blood has been poured into this rock, that blood accounts for the fertility of this land today. अब आप पूछेंगे ये कैसा है कि खून डालने से लैंड फर्टाइल हो गई? Yes, there are many plants which need some kind of blood to grow or become more fruitful. For example, even today, if you go to a garden which has got vineyards, जहाँ अंगूर उगते हैं, अंगूरों के बेलें हैं, तो आमतौर पे जो फार्मर्स हैं वो उन बेलों में जानवरों का खून ला के डालते हैं एज ए काइंड ऑफ मैन्योर, एक किस्म की खाद है. तो उससे जो उनकी बेलें हैं, जो उनका फल है, वो ज़्यादा बेहतर लगता है. अगर पहले 10 गुच्छे लगते थे तो खून डालने से वो 50 गुच्छे लगते. So that is the quality of the blood. So this is the effect. There is no doubt about this. So on account of this blood which has been poured into this rock, the area became fertile for the production of grapes. Number one, it became very famous for the production of olives, and it became very fertile for the production of oranges. Oranges का तो खैर कोई तलब नहीं है, but blood से. But the अंगूर is definitely related to the
सर
blood.
मुझे याद है आम की दरख्त को भी
जी.
अम्मी डालती थी वो कुर्बानी के टाइम पे, तो वो उसके फल ज्यादा लगता था.
जी जी, ये अभी होता है जब कुर्बानियाँ होती हैं तो लोग ब्लड ले जाते हैं आपके घर से, जिनके घर में बेलें लगी हुई हैं तो जाके बेल में डालते हैं. तो दैट मीन ब्लड इज ब्लड, मतलब ब्लड इज एक्चुअली, इसको ऐसे तो नहीं कहते कि लाइफ ब्लड है, दैट इज ए सिंबल ऑफ लाइफ. तो उसके बगैर तो कारोबार चलता ही नहीं है. तो दैट इज बैकग्राउंड. नाउ दिस इज द बिल्डिंग. द रॉक इज हियर, जस्ट लुक एट द रॉक. द रॉक की तो इतनी हाइट, मामूली सी हाइट है, बट द डूम इज वेरी हाई ऑन दिस रॉक, एंड द रेस्ट ऑफ द बिल्डिंग इज लाइक दिस. This is an octagonal building. It has opening on 3 sides. चौथी side पे opening नहीं है, but there's a window there, kind of mihrab over there. Hexagonal building, sorry, octagonal building is 8 sides. And then if you go to first inner part, which is an ambulatory, this portion becomes the first ambulatory. So इसमें 8 piers हैं, and between every 2 piers there are 2 columns. 8 piers, and between every 2 piers 2 columns. And then you go to inner ambulatory. There we have 4 piers, and there are 3 columns between every 2 piers. So you can calculate the number of piers, and you can also calculate the number of columns. Piers are simple, 8.4, 8 plus 4 become 12. But then in this case, there are 16 columns. In this case, there are 12 columns. 16 plus 12, you can add whatever it is. The dome, which is approximately 65 feet in diameter and is mounted on an elevated drum, rises above a circle of 16 piers and columns. Surrounding this circle is an octagonal arcade of 24 piers and columns. Below the dome, a portion of the sacred rock is exposed and protected by a railing. Height of the dome is 24.48 meters. ये इसकी थोड़ी सी description है, that is the dimension. And the oblong rock is about 13 meter long and 10 meter wide. That is it. The outer walls repeat this octagon, each of the 8 sides being approximately so much wide and so much high. The dome and the exterior wall contain many windows. There are 16 windows in the drum of the dome working as a clerestory. So here you can see the windows here. These are the windows in the drum working as a clerestory. They are visible at this level from exterior. These are the columns and these are the piers. And then you can see the semicircular arches, very much in the fashion of the Spanish Muslim architecture. And these are the columns with a base and nothing, no decoration on the shaft, simply circular. And then the rock is over here. The roof is sloping inside and there is a parapet, and then the windows and windows and windows outside. The black patches like this are the piers. The black patches which are semicircular, you see here, actually they are complete circle, but in this drawing they become a little compressed. These are the columns. That is a sectional view. Sectional view, हम sectional अक्सर use करते हैं, architecture में तो section बहुत use होते हैं. What is a section? Section किसको कहते हैं? जी, all teachers sitting here, what is a section? Hello? आवाज आ रही? इतनी खामोशी होती है कि मुझे लगता है आई कोई नहीं है.
Sir, portion?
नहीं, portion नहीं.
सर एक आप जब उसको डिवाइड करते हो, आप एक कट डालते हो जो बॉडी ऑफ द बिल्डिंग के सेंटर से आ रहा हो, उसको सेक्शन कहते हैं, ताकि आप उसको देख सको कि उसके अंदर क्या क्या एलिमेंट्स आ रहे हैं, उसको किस तरीके से आपने बिल्ड किया हुआ है.
हाँ, करीब करीब है आप, लेकिन सेक्शन तो एक ऐसा लफ्ज है जो आप बचपन से सुनते हैं. जब स्कूल आप जाते हैं तो सेक्शन ए है, सेक्शन बी है, सेक्शन सी है. सेक्शन सिंपली मीन टू कट समथिंग इन पीसेस. जो कट करना है, आप सही कह रही हैं, कट करने को सेक्शन कहते हैं. जैसे फीमेल तो बड़ा फेमिलियर है, सी सेक्शन क्या चीज है? व्हाट इज सी सेक्शन?
सर जूलियस सीजर ने स्टार्ट किया था इसको, सिजेरियन सेक्शन भी इसीलिए कहा जाता है, उसके अंदर भी देयर इज अ कट.
जूलियस सीजर बेचारे ने स्टार्ट तो नहीं किया था, वो बेचारा पैदा इस तरह हुआ था. बेचारा पैदा सी सेक्शन के थ्रू हुआ था.
सही आई फॉरगॉट.
सर ये क्रॉस सेक्शन भी कहते हैं इसको, ये जो आर्किटेक्चरल, ये जो सामने कट नजर आ रहा है,
when the section is from one side of the building to the other side, then it is called cross section. So cross section ऐसे भी तो हो सकता है ना. For example, this is the plan. If you cut it here, this is one section, and if you cut it here, this will become cross section. जैसे चौक नहीं होता, क्रॉस होता है. क्रॉस होता है, क्रॉस is like this, one line here and one line here. So if you have two sections, that will become cross section. अच्छा किया आपने पूछ लिया. Now look at the rock from, if you are up in the gallery. Gallery तो है कोई नहीं, लेकिन ऊपर अगर आप चले भी जाएं, the rock looks like this. There is a hole, and this is the rock and the flight of steps going down from here. So these are the piers, quite thick, and these are the columns. And this is the inner ambulatory. ये जो circular formation होती है काफी building की, this is known as a rotunda. Rotunda, R-O-T-U-N-D-A, rotunda. Something which is circular and solid. That is known as rotunda. So this is another closer view of the rock, and another view of the rock, and then the drum of the dome, and then rest of the building is above this. And then the dome is like this, and then the rock is hidden behind this parda. And this is parda which remind me or remind you also of the maksura, ताकि लोग ज़्यादा अंदर ना चले जाएं, उसके रॉक के ऊपर सैर ना करनी शुरू कर दें, maybe just to touch the rock or worship on the rock or on the side of the rock. So the kind of worship, a kind of protection, this wall has been built. You can call it a maksura for this. These are the 16 windows, and then this is the decoration in the Arabic fashion, and the dome of the building. And this is another section of the building. You can see it here. And then the dome is like this, the column going up, and this is the soffit of the arch between the two columns. And this is the second soffit, and this is the third soffit, and continuation of the soffit, windows and the clear story, and then the decoration on the dome. This is a closer view of the dome. If you look at this line and this construction of a line, it looks like ऐसे एक ही line continue कर रही है in all directions, going all the way. एक ही line चल रही है, but it's not one line. It is actually one module made of one module made of three circles, you can call it. So, three circles, 1, 2, and 3. So actually that has been repeated again and again. And this is the breakup of the dome. This is the dome. And this is an element which has been repeated again and again. And because the top portion is smaller, bigger, the bottom is bigger, when they put together, they make a circular formation by themselves. This is known as the radial formation of an element. There's another section of the building. The dome has a special construction. It is a wooden dome. एक अंदर wooden frame है, एक outer wooden frame है. In between there is a cavity. पर दोनों को थोड़े से plugs लगा के दोनों को जोड़ा गया है ताकि ना करीब आ जाए, ना वो दूर चले जाएं. And at the top of there is a funnel having 3 globules, या जिसकी आप गड़वियाँ कहते हैं या कलश कहते हैं. And at the top there is a crescent. Now if you look at this drawing and if you look at this drawing, there are a lot of differences. ये कुछ कह रही है difference की, ये कुछ कह रही है, but I think both are conjectural. But nevertheless, there is this difference between inner frame and the outer frame. And this is the building, the dome as seen from the closer view. And this is the top of the dome. There is no lotus flower over here or inverted lotus flower here, but a construction like this, and then a colors like this, or a gadvi like this, and the color like this, and then at the top there is the crescent. And when you come down, this is an engraving from one of the old books. There is the lower part of the rock. You can go down and then people pray in the lower area. This is what is happening in the lower area today. Another picture of the lower area. This is the light, not the light from the hole, but light from the lamp. Some more picture of the lower area. And then the decorative element. The decorative elements have spread into various things. For example, one of the most important thing to note is the 3 kind of gateways, having the semicircular arch at top in the form of a vault, because it is a long one. Then the columns here, the columns are natural granite, having their own variegated. This is known as a variegated marble. Variegated marble is that marble which has the shape of a bridge, जिसको आप कहते हैं. एक ही पत्थर में बहुत से नमूने रंग नजर आते हैं. That is known as variegated marble. And then the door of the building, and then another door and another door. And then the building has got plenty of blind windows. What are blind windows? अंधी खिड़कियां. Blind windows are there, but the windows are such ना उनसे हवा गुजर सकती है, ना उनके थ्रू हम देख सकते हैं. That kind of windows are known as blind windows. So ऐसी windows हैं, they look like a window, लेकिन इनके थ्रू हम ना देख सकते हैं, ना इनके थ्रू रोशनी जाती है, ना इनके थ्रू कोई vision हो सकता है. So that is known as a blind window. This is a blind window, and this is also a blind window. And blind window, then plenty of decoration in faience, mosaic and faience decoration, and some inscriptions also. Inscriptions are mostly in the script which is known as Suls. Suls is Se Lam Se. से वो 3 नुक्ते वाली से जो है, से लम से, सुल्स भी कहते हैं और सुलुस भी कहते हैं. In English it is THULTH or THULUTH. Both are correct. Sulus means 3. So in the sequence of the early inscriptions which were introduced by the Islamic calligraphers, the first was maybe Kufi, and second one something else, and the third one was the Suls, and that's why it is known as Suls. That means number 3 in the sequence of the calligraphic styles which were developed. And some calligraphy over here and blind windows. And this is Suls. The most important elements of Suls is it has emphasis on verticals. जितने भी vertical होंगे वो specially notable होंगे. They become very conspicuous. तो जहाँ भी आपको ये conspicuous नजर आए verticals, that style is known as Sul script. This again you can see the word emphasis on the verticals. This is again Suls. But the notable thing is mostly the dominant color is the various kind of blues, which we see in the case of this building. Blues and blues and blues. So this is again Sul script here. And then the faience work, and then above that there's the dome. This gives the idea, this letter gives the idea how high the dome is. Another picture and the mosaics inside the building. And mosaic, I hope all of you know what mosaic is. Mosaic is putting pieces of stone, a precious stone together to form different kind of pictures, maybe human or maybe foliage, whatever it is. That is known as the mosaic work. I have a detailed lecture on mosaic in future also. So mosaic has decorative elements and the like modules. So the elements are here. So these are some circular formations. तो ये भी module कहते हैं जिससे what is the name? Special name for this is the medallions. The circular formations are known as the medallions. MADALLIONS. Medallions means something which is in the form of a circle. For example, this is a medallion. This is a medallion, and this is also a medallion. So actually from the word medallion we have medal. तो आप आजकल जो आपको medals मिलते हैं वो सारे circular form में होते हैं. That's why they are known as medals. Otherwise उनमें कोई और कमाल नहीं होता. So out of this kind of formation which is known as the mosaic work, we have the decorative elements and we have the calligraphic elements. This is a closer view of one of those elements, and then another mosaic, and then another mosaic, and you can see the calligraphy also. And this is a medallion. This is also a medallion, and medallion over here also. And that is all for today.